So, a few months ago, I got diagnosed with the coronavirus because I got sick and tired of drinking Coronas. Let's try some freaking bourbon. All right, guys, welcome back to Bottled and Bond. Today, on our Monday episode, our American episode, our bourbon series, we are heading back to the Jim Beam Distillery in Kentucky, and we are going to try out the bottle that some of you have been seeing right up there for past couple weeks. We're gonna try some Booker's. Bam! So, Booker's has a little bit of a history according to the Jim Beam Distillery. The way they describe the history behind Booker's is a long time ago, they used to have these whiskey people that worked in the distillery. They would go up and down the rick houses with their what they would call mules, plastic devices, to pretty much steal some of the whiskey, steal to taste some of the whiskey, and they get a trial or two. Well, these guys were, in their own words, for lack of a better term, kind of heavy set. And when they were leaning in to try some of these whiskeys, their bellies would rub on the barrels, removing some of the dust. And people said that the shinier the barrels were when it came down to bottling, the better the whiskeys tasted. And primarily these barrels that they were picking and choosing from were primarily from the middle of the rick houses. Now, this version of Booker's is the shiny barrel batch, which is why I told you the story about the bellies rubbing and the barrels being shinier and not so dusty. Now, online knowledge states that the bottling of this specific whiskey came from different rick houses, so different warehouses where they were stored, and what they stated was that it was mostly primarily from the center, where it was a little bit cooler in temperature. 18% of it came from the 6th floor of the 9-story warehouse D. 39% of it came from the 4th floor of the 9-story warehouse E, and 43% of it came from the 4th story of the 9-story warehouse J. The mash bill on this Booker's, the Shiny Barrel batch, is at 77% corn, 13% rye, and 10% malted barley. The approximate age statement that I picked up from online was 6 years, 5 months, and 1 day. I have no idea what they're talking about. The price on this specific Booker's is kind of high up there. You're looking at anywhere between 65 to 75 bucks depending on your region. And from there, I believe it starts climbing up. The ABV on this is 62% alcohol by volume, making it a 124 proof. Let's open this bad boy up. This is a bitch and a half to open. Rubber cork. Although you still pick up some very good, sweet, flavorful notes of the bourbon. And might I say, this is a very fancy bottle. They have the B engraved, kind of little something, little sticker there. I don't know. Maybe they want to be exclusive like their cousins over at Buffalo Trace. What a pour. So I'm not trying to compare this to a lower proof on the nose, a lower proof and lower price bourbon, but the smell of it reminds me of Woodford Reserve. Sweet, caramel, glazed, honey, syrup, maple, brown sugar. Every single note that a good bourbon has, this has those notes. Caramel, you remember those caramel candies that are clearly wrapped? It's like a little caramel cube. Yeah, that's what. So not Werther's. I'm talking about just those little caramel cubes that your mom used to give you back in the days. Maybe a little toffee note as well. Some of the cherries, not maraschino cherries, but almost like the dark cherries. Yeah, it's like a dark chocolate, cherry, vanilla, maple syrup Those are the smells that pretty much jump out at me when first smelling this. Oh, wait a minute. Holy crap. From the moment that I put it in my palate, I got struck with this sweetness. Very sweet. And the longer I kept chewing on it, the more peppery, sweet, spicy, sweet, caramel, sweet. And then it starts engulfing your palate with a spicy, peppery flavor, but it remains sweet and it almost lingers in your palate. This stuff is different. It is high in proof, but unlike other high in proof whiskeys that I've had, it remains its sweet balance. So as you're tasting it and it's going from your beginning of your palate to your mid palate to the back end, you are continuously getting lashed with those sweet notes on your palate, and the cherry and the chocolatey and the maple syrup, and it's just continuously, man, that's amazing. That's amazing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Drink this neat. This is a high proof whiskey, high proof bourbon. But I'm telling you right now, if you get the Booker's Shiny Barrel Batch, sip on it neat. This reminds me of when I first tried Lefroy. I was shocked at how a single malt whiskey can have so many different flavors. This is by far, right now, look, I thought I had double oaked already on my top list. I thought double oak was the best thing since sliced bread. Listen, this is gonna be a very good bourbon to keep stocked. Booker's Shiny Barrel Batch. It is unlike no other bourbon that I've had. It is so different with its high proof, spicy, peppery that you come to expect from a high proof whiskey, yet you get thrown in there with the sweet cherries and the sweet maple syrups and the sweet vanillas and the sweet chocolatey and the sweet, it's an array of different flavors that is unlike no other. Definitely gets my vote. Worth the price, worth the flavors, worth looking for and keeping stocked. And share it with your freaking friends, man. Show them what real bourbon tastes like. Nonetheless, guys, not too sure if you guys have had Booker's, but if you have had Booker's, specifically speaking of the Shiny Barrel Batch, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you thought, if you liked it, you didn't like it. I'm Ozzy. This is Booker's Shiny Barrel Batch, 124 proof bourbon from the Jim Beam Distillery. And this is Bottled and Bond. Cheers.